most recent story.
I wanted to do 2 videos on Chrissy. Let's start with this one. This one seems like it's going to be juicy according to the comments I see below. Let's go.
Is danileigh trying to get Kendra G removed from an interview she was doing on the radio station that she works for. And I'll be honest with you, I am just not, I'm familiar with Kendra G. I've seen, some of her viral clips, dating show clips or whatever. She has some sort of dating show. I've seen a couple of those. Not really my thing. So I don't watch a lot of Kendra G. I'm not extremely familiar with her platform. Okay, so what I'm going to say here is not personal to Kendra G. I don't know her. I'm not supporting her or, throwing her under the bus. None of that. This is not personal. This is just my observation of this specific experience. Okay, so I just want to make that clear because y'all like, creating imaginary beef. Yes, I did see Kendra's video from today. That's why the video is titled Kendra G Forgives danileigh, because I saw the whole thing unfold since yesterday. Again, danileigh and her team supposedly tried to get Kendra G removed from an interview she was doing on the radio station that she works for. And this comes after danileigh successfully got B. Simone removed from a Wild 'N Out episode she was on because she didn't want to work with her. And as I stated in a recent Chrissy After Dark live stream, being that B. Simone herself came out a while back pretty much bigging up Danny for being Latina, basically saying she looked better than herself and black women in general. And also, Danny came out with that ridiculously embarrassing Yellow Bone song. Being that all of that transpired, okay, I just think black women, and specifically dark-skinned black women, should have just stayed out of it. Just stayed out of it, because neither of these women, in my opinion, really rock with black women like that. And I don't think they deserve our support.
What you mean to say is that both of these types of women make you jealous, and because of that, you can't stand up for either. Honestly, I just get annoyed by how you act towards women like Kendra G. Why is it you need to use her as a pawn and pretend you don't have jealousy issues with her being lighter than you and, not being a dark-skinned girl, but at the same time, you're going to try and use her as your image. And then the next second, you're going to, your jealousy kind of pops out. It's annoying. It really is annoying with your type. Let's continue.
Right? And, I said that in the live stream, the Chrissy After Dark live stream that I did. What was that? Last week sometime? Anyway, Kendra G did a video dragging danileigh literally yesterday, okay? Then today, they did a video together saying how it was all a misunderstanding. danileigh, blamed everything on her team. She said her team spoke for her, saying she didn't feel comfortable working with Kendra. But then she said, that wasn't true. She didn't tell her team that. She said she didn't even know about the interview. And she also told the Shade Room that she didn't even know who Kendra was. Okay? So now everything is good between them. And black women, are all under the video talking about, this is true sisterhood, and, queens are coming together, and this is what grown women do. All of that kumbaya stuff, right? And on the gossip pages, like the Shade Room and all the other ones, black women are now mad at Kendra when just yesterday they were praising her for dragging danileigh. So I'm going to play both of these clips and then give my opinion. I know some of you have seen them, but some of you haven't. So for the purposes of the video, I'm going to go ahead and play both clips.
I fought for our country, but here in Nevada, our closed primary system prohibits 600,000 independents like me from voting. Yes on 3 will open primaries, guaranteeing all voters the right to vote. Join veterans across Nevada. Vote yes on 3.
Goes to danileigh, and let me tell you why. This goofy ass person of the day award goes to danileigh, and let me tell you why. danileigh is in the city of Chicago. I don't know why. Probably got a high school appearance. Who the hell knows? But she was set to do an interview with the morning show, and she requested that I, Kendra G, be removed from the interview because she was uncomfortable talking to me. Girlfriend, this ain't wilding out. You ain't gonna be Simone me. Now your whole interview has been canceled. But I'm trying to figure out, why didn't you want to talk to me in the first place? I actually been on the radio defending your honor. I really felt the way when your baby daddy played you on that infamous IG Live, and I defended you on the radio. Now, shout out to B. Simone, who I know in real life, rock with in real life, but I actually understood why you didn't want to do Wildin' Out with her. But I'm still trying to figure out, why the hell you ain't want to talk to me? Now you nervous? I'm gonna ask you the questions that need to be asked. Like, are you still sleeping with your baby daddy after he beat your brother up and played you on the IG Live? And you know what? I probably would have asked you that question because I need to know. Because if you forgave him, that means I need to forgive him. Are you nervous I was gonna bring up that whack ass Yellowbone song? Girlfriend, I don't care. You can make a song about your skin tone and celebrate it. I love being a dark skinned woman. Ain't no whack ass song like that gonna make me insecure about my complexion. Are you nervous?
That's odd. I would consider Kendra G brown-skinned. She's dark-skinned? That's odd. Anyway,
I was going to ask you, like, how did it feel to be a girlfriend thinking you was better than all the baby mamas just to become a baby mama and get treated worse? And you know what, danileigh? I probably would have asked you all those questions because guess what? That's my job. That's what I do. I ask the questions that the people want to know. Maybe you should focus on your job, be in the studio and make a hit, and we got to talk about your music and not about your personal life. That's not my fault that your personal life is more relevant than your music. That's your fault. You around here trying to get people removed from interviews. It don't go down like that. Now you miss out on the opportunity to have a radio interview on #1 urban station in Chicago. And guess what? This opportunity might not come around again because your music ain't popping. So with that being said, sit your goofy ass down. Enjoy Chicago while you're here.
So that's what Kendra G said.
I like Kendra G. I'm subscribed to her. I like her commentary. But yeah. Anyway, continue.
Just yesterday, okay? And I'm only playing the audio because I don't know if she's going to copyright this clip or whatever, you know, trying to avoid the copyright. And so that was yesterday. And this is what she had to say today.
Yes, women can talk and figure things out. We both were telling our truths. As in, she genuinely didn't know about the interview. Her team genuinely conveyed that she did not want me a part of the interview, which then promotes me to do that video. A girl came for like, I don't. If you ever feel like after that, she ate me up though. I understand. I want to say this. There's no joy in my heart in what that energy that the video brought you. I don't have joy in my heart. It was just that was my truth. You know, this is what I do. And for someone to say that, speak on her behalf and tell my radio station that she's not comfortable interviewing with me, she'll do with other people, you know, I'm gonna go hard in the paint.
I understood. She was mad. She always rides for me too. So I was
and that was the thing. As a woman, you know, there are certain things that you live life in front of the world. And I'm a woman. I made mistakes in dating past, but there was no camera following me. So there's a sympathy that I do have for you in that way. And there's only things you're gonna learn in the journey of dating. It's just that you're doing it in front of the world. Yeah. So I do have a sympathetic hole in my heart for her. But then, you know, girl, when I feel like I'm being attacked, I'm gonna attack. Right. So I just want to say this. We talked.
We did. It was a misunderstanding.
People behind the scenes did some things they shouldn't have did.
At all.
And
speaking for me, which I was not aware.
And we're not gonna give, I mean, we there's certain names we just can't share, but She did not know, but I genuinely was told that her team spoke for her, but they misspoke for her. So, but we probably ain't gonna do that interview, child, because I got to ask you a question.
I already know.
And I don't know if you want to answer those questions, girl. So, but listen, let's send her positive love. Let's change that energy I sent out yesterday. Let's change that energy and send love and show that women can have conversations, get to the bottom of it, and figure out a way to move forward in a positive way.
Yes, I love it.
And I really do wish you the best of luck.
I wish you the best.
I really do.
Yeah, see, she seems like she's able to resolve things, and it's more reasonable. I like that about Kendra G. Kendra G sometimes, you could see how she is. She's good with communications, and she's just good with solving problems. It seems like an issue or beef one might have is easier to squash for her because she's good at that type of field, basically.
We ain't gonna do that interview, child, because
She got an email. I can't answer anything. No,
I won't ask you.
Okay, so now I know y'all are gonna get mad when I say this, okay? But to me, this is just me. This is my opinion, okay? Danileigh does not look genuine in this video at all. Am I the only one here? I just feel like this video was so fake. And I get it, you know, they work together. They're in the, you know, this is the entertainment industry. Go along to get along. So you gotta expect some type of fakeness and inauthenticity, right? But I don't think this was genuine, okay? What I think happened is Danny's team quickly did damage control on her behalf. They cleaned up the mess because they knew it was a bad look. Kendra fell for it because let's just keep it real. Okay, Kendra likes Danny. She's a fan. She's a fan, right? She wanted to meet her, and that is what a big source of her being hurt was about. You know, she really wanted to meet Danny. She's clearly fangirling in this video, and it's clear the only reason she was upset because she felt rejected by Danny, an artist that she was a fan of. And I'll talk more about that in a minute because, in my opinion, this is just another case of dark-skinned women standing for mixed women at the expense of themselves. And
yeah, look at these two people. I don't really see how Kendra G looks dark-skinned at all. What do you mean? I mean, yes, Danny is lighter, but I wouldn't say Kendra is at all dark-skinned here. What is dark about this photo? And this is generally not that far from what Kendra G looks like, because I've seen her on her show, and usually this is how she looks. She doesn't look particularly light, but she doesn't particularly look dark-skinned. She's brown, I would say. She's medium. I don't get why she would refer to her as dark-skinned. And I've seen on Chrissy's channel that women this color are not accepted in their phenotype as much because they are very much pro dark skin, and that this is not going to make the cut usually. Usually their cut would be more like Lupita's color. I don't even think she's really Gabrielle Union's color. I think she's lighter than her. So I think she's definitely in the middle on this. She wouldn't particularly be dark skinned. I mean, Danny is lighter than her, I know that, but she's not particularly dark in my opinion. Anyway, continue.
Their image. But I don't think Danny is being honest. And on the shade.
And also I wanted to point out here that I don't think Chrissy is being honest on this. Because I mean, like, she tries to change the goalposts of what dark is depending on the story, right? And this is a focal point of a lot of colorism channels. They like to do the whole light versus dark thing, so they'll make people darker than what they are to try and make their story dark versus light, or make the person lighter than what they are to prove light versus dark. Basically, they're just trying to keep up that whole idea of light versus dark to create their audience, because I mean, let's face it, Chrissy has only made an audience off of baiting light skin against dark skin. That's what her channel is about. So even many times when someone is not dark-skinned, she makes them dark-skinned, even though she doesn't think they're dark-skinned. I mean, it's not just me saying this either. Chrissy has said in the past that Gabrielle Union is not a dark-skinned woman. I want to put Chrissy shade range, because she actually has a video on shade ranges. Anyone can look at this video for themselves. Where is it? I guess I can't find it here, but it's here. Is what is light skin, maybe, I guess. But she has one, and it's like, she has a specific thing where, like, light brown skin people aren't actually considered light skinned by her. And, you know, brownish people aren't considered dark skinned. So, I mean, like, she does have that, but I can't find it here. I'll have it in the
room, because
link
the Shade Room
below.
posted, you know, this information. And it says here, okay, this isn't true. What's up, y'all? What's going on? I've never heard anything about this interview, right? And then in this screenshot, apparently the Shade Room did like an exclusive with her, and she told them personally, I don't even know her at all. And I underlined this part so you can see it, okay? But in the video that I just played for you guys, she said, oh, she always rides for me. You always ride for me. And the way she said it was like she was familiar with Kendra beforehand. And I'm just not buying that after one day, Danny just happened to see all of the clips of Kendra defending her, right? It's not adding up to me. You know, it's not adding up. I think Danny knew who she was, right? And you know, if Danny is telling the truth, let's just say she's telling the truth, right? The fact of the matter is her team is still actively interfering, or trying to interfere, with Kendra's job, right? Her team is still actively interfering with Black women's careers in general on the behalf of Danny, because she doesn't want to interview with Black women. And no matter if Danny's doing it, if her team is doing it, that's a problem, okay? And personally,
So you're just going to assume she doesn't want to interview all Black women because of particularly Kendra G? Why not? I would think in this situation, why would it be a shock that Danny wouldn't want to be interviewed by Kendra? Do you know what Kendra does on her channel? I'm not trying to talk against Kendra. I like the girl's channel. I'm subscribed to her channel. But she gives advice on people's relationships. She talks about what they did wrong, how they're not suitable for another relationship. This is a baby mama who has a whole bunch of drama with that guy she had a kid with, the baby or whatever, that rapper. Of course she doesn't want to be interviewed by someone like that. Who in their right mind would want to be interviewed by someone like that? That's got nothing to do with skin tone. That's got to do with what Kendra G does. And Kendra G would definitely be the type of person that would criticize danileigh in ways and put her in images, like in an image that isn't favorable to her. You know what I mean? Her channel is honestly compared to Kevin Samuels. Baby mamas who have failed to marry their men and, you know, are having dysfunctional situations for their children do not want to show up on a channel like, for example, Kendra G's, because her channel isn't very far or different than Kevin Samuels was. You know, it's criticizing your lifestyle, criticizing your mistakes. And for these type of people, they've made a lot of mistakes and everyone has seen their mistakes. So of course, who wants to be, you know, judged for that if they weren't coming to be criticized for that, you know? So that makes sense. That's got nothing to do with color though. Stop trying to make it into a black or dark skin versus light skin or whatever bullshit you're doing. It's so desperate with Chrissy. Seriously, you're so desperate because it's like, you know, anyone could see that this is the case where, you know, people are not having an issue with someone's skin tone, but they're having an issue with the content that they put out on their channels and what kind of radio station that this lady has. Anyway, continue.
I believe that Danny told her team, hey, I don't want to work with black women because they will likely question me about the baby or about my Yellowbone song. And so she's trying to avoid the questions specifically coming from black women because being around black women makes her feel uncomfortable. And it makes sense.
No, because she doesn't want questions about her baby daddy. That makes sense. If she doesn't want questions, that's got nothing to do with the color, though. If you don't want questions about the bad relationships and the bad choices you made in your life, and that's not the time for it, well, then I assume she wouldn't want to be interviewed by people who are going to ask that question, you know.
Because of what she did, right? We've been knowing since Danny made her Yellowbone song that she feels like she's superior to black women.
No, she just said in her Yellowbone song, I never had an issue with that personally. I mean, I'm not a Yellowbone. And I've never had an issue with that song. Because, I mean, people should be with people who want them for them. If he wants a dark-skinned woman and he's with a light-skinned woman, why the heck is he with the light-skinned woman? You know what I mean? That's not right to that light-skinned woman. Because she should be with somebody who wants her, for her. You know? And someone who, you know, is dark-skinned, you guys would say it's terrible if someone wants a light-skinned girl and they're with a dark-skinned girl. You know, that's a terrible position to put a dark-skinned girl too in. You know, I personally wouldn't want a man who wants a dark-skinned girl and wants to be with me because I'm not dark-skinned. And I wouldn't want it with light-skinned people either because I'm not light-skinned. So, I mean, like, I just don't get why people would expect, like, for people to want men to want someone else when they're with that man. You know, she was saying in that song that he wanted her for her phenotype and her skin tone. There's nothing wrong with that. That wasn't a diss at anyone. She should be able to embrace her skin tone. You know, everybody should be allowed to embrace their skin tone. That's what's so annoying about people like you, is that you think only your skin tone can be embraced. That is colorist in itself. You always are pushing and claiming and throwing around the term colorist to every other person, but at the same time acting very colorist by saying the only kind of skin tone that's able to be embraced and celebrated is yours. Anyway, continue.
Bragged about the baby wanting her over his dark-skinned baby mama, right? Mimi, I got her in here. This is Mimi, right? Bragged about that. She thought it was cute being the side piece until he treated her the same way, right? So all of that is embarrassing for Danny. So of course she doesn't want to sit down and talk about it with black women. She's uncomfortable, right? And to be honest, I would have a little bit more respect for Danny if she just came clean about it. If she just came clean and said the same way, you know, she came clean about not wanting to work with B. Simone. Just say it, right? Because it's not a coincidence that this happened twice, you guys. It happened with B. Simone, and Kendra said the same thing. So you and your team are working together on this. I'm not buying that, oh, it's just my team, it's them, they spoke for me. No, there's a reason why they said what they said, and they spoke for you and said what they said. Because you told them to say it. You know, or maybe you didn't tell them to say it specifically about Kendra, but you told them to say it about black women. Right?
But you just said in the other breath that you don't want people to stand up for B. Simone because of her skin tone. So what are you doing? You try and include B. Simone as a black woman, but then at the same time you're saying you don't even want to defend B. Simone. See, you're using people as bonds here to support what you're saying, but they don't even make any sense when you can't even support what you're saying. You won't even support the very people you're saying because you said you wouldn't support B. Simone because she's too light. So, continue. Shoot.
So it's like, I'm just not falling for this at all. I'm not falling for this at all. And I would have a little bit more respect of her if she was just honest about it. But see, that would require her to be honest about how she truly feels about black women, the very women who support her the most. And what will that do? That will ultimately or potentially mess up her bag, because she'll still have black female supporters.
You do understand. I think Danny identifies as mixed, or at least black. So I don't think that's an issue. Like I said, you're trying to make it out to that, but there are different reasons for each individual for why she wouldn't want to deal with them. That's got nothing to do with color, but what they've actually done, their behavior. I mean, the clip I saw of B. Simone talking about danileigh, she does seem really odd and weird. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't want to deal with her with that type of clip where she was going on and on about danileigh. Yeah, that kind of makes sense that no one would want to deal with her. You know, just saying. And the same thing would apply with Kendra G. Not in the same regard, obviously. I don't think Kendra G is messed up. I don't really have any issue with Kendra G. It's just the field she's in. You wouldn't want to be before someone like that as a baby mama who has a very dysfunctional relationship with her baby daddy. You wouldn't want to be in that situation.
But you know what I'm saying. Danny, she doesn't genuinely like the women who support her the most. And she's not, this is not uncommon. She's a lot like, a lot of like these other mixed race female artists. They don't really like their black female fan base. They don't. You know, I've been telling y'all this for years, and it's true. And so, being that is likely the situation here, it puts Danny in a very, very awkward position. And I just want to tell black women, once again, you are being played. A lot of you fell for her apology about, the Yellowbone song, and now you're falling for this. And I'm just not buying it. And before anyone accuses me of being divisive or accuses me of hating light-skinned women, danileigh is the one who made a song about her skin tone.
So it's wrong. I just don't get this. It's wrong for her to make a song about her skin tone, but it's okay for you to make a song about your skin tone. All the songs about dark-skinned women, the songs even about brown-skinned women. And I do think, I find it annoying that the brown-skinned song was taken by dark-skinned women. Like, I mean, let people have something where they can celebrate themselves. I mean, Beyonce, who is brown-skinned, made the song, but you guys tried to take it. But anyway, that's a whole different story. My point is, you guys make plenty of songs for dark-skinned women. There's songs out there for brown-skinned women. They've been celebrated, But when someone makes a song about light-skinned women, somehow that's wrong. I don't get that. I never understood that. There's nothing wrong with someone embracing their skin tone. It would be wrong if she started saying negative things about your skin tone. That would be wrong. But if she's just embracing her own skin tone, everybody should feel good in the skin that they're in. That's just how it is. And if you're uncomfortable with that, what your problem is you're uncomfortable with the skin you're in, and it's got nothing to do with her. You just wish you had something that you don't have, and you should be comfortable in your own skin. That's the problem here. It's not really about light-skinned women loving their skin. It's about you not loving your skin. Anyway, continue.
Didn't do that. danileigh did that. So the divide already existed before my commentary. I can't divide what's already divided. Okay? Dark-skinned women cannot...
It's not about that, because honestly, like I said, when you talk about the divide and things of that nature, you constantly make up the divide. Because half the time you're talking about people who you don't even think are light-skinned, or half the time it's talking about people you don't even think are dark-skinned. So it's obvious you're trying to make a divide in a place where you don't even believe what you're saying yourself. You're just making it up for views, clicks, and money, basically. Anyway, continue.
Unify with colorists. It's impossible. We can't unify with women like this, especially if they're trying to stop black women from doing their jobs and
What you mean is that you, as a colorist, can't combine and basically align with other colors of women because, well, you're a colorist. That's what being a colorist is, hating people for having a different skin tone than you. And being colorist doesn't mean that you particularly have to hate someone darker. You could also hate someone who's lighter and be colorist because you hate people who are lighter skinned, which is exactly what you are. Anyway,
sabotaging their careers and trying to stop them from ultimately getting paid because they're scared of black women or don't like black women. Black women are not obligated to support these women's careers after they do that. And I think a lot of y'all, what y'all like to do, right, and this really irritates me, specifically about the YouTube space, right? A lot of y'all will blame black women, and specifically dark-skinned black women who have an issue with colorism and talk about colorism. You'll blame us for elevating mixed women like Danny above ourselves, which is very true. But you can't say in one breath that it's our fault that these women are undermining us, and then in the next breath you condemn us for attempting to put a stop to it.
No, it's not them though. Don't you get it? When you put light-skinned women above you, that's a you problem. That's not light-skinned women's problems. That's not brown-skinned women's problem. That's a you dark-skinned black woman's problem, okay? That's a I don't like my skin tone problem. That's what it is. It's no one else's fault that you are basically uncomfortable with your own skin tone and you think someone else's skin tone is better than yours. Nobody else made you uncomfortable with your skin tone besides people your own color, honestly. Let's be honest here. The main people who are negative towards dark-skinned people are dark-skinned people. It's not light-skinned or brown-skinned people. Usually, people who are lighter-skinned will be a lot more sensitive to darker-skinned people. And I've seen it myself where I see darker-skinned black women and a dark-skinned black woman will call another darker-skinned person like burnt or black. And I'd be like, no, what's wrong with you guys? You're both black. Like, you're both dark-skinned. And, they would kind of seem embarrassed almost. But that's my point. It's just like, I don't get why these type of people, don't realize that it's not anyone else's problem besides, darker skinned people thinking that light skin is better than them. I mean, that's you. You shouldn't have that kind of train of thought. Retrain your mindset, Find self-love. Anyway, continue.
Attempting to put our image first. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so when we go to correct the problem, that's a problem too. Us calling out colorism is a problem. And then when we say, hey, well, we're not going to, allow these women to undermine us anymore, and especially be colorist and play on our faces, then that's also a problem, right? It's like we can't win, which is why I don't try. This is why dark-skinned women just need to do them and do what's best for them. Because whatever you do will always be a problem. Right?
No, if you love yourself, no one gives a fuck. I do not give a fuck if dark-skinned women love themselves, okay? I think it's a good idea if they love themselves. I just think that, if you want to try to love yourself, you're not going to be so filled with hate to hate others. Loving yourself does not equate to hating people of other complexions. It just isn't. It just doesn't mean that.
But in my opinion, this situation between Danny and Kendra, it just proves that black women, and especially dark-skinned black women, have way too much empathy for mixed women. In the initial video, Kendra was saying, and even in the second video, she was saying how much, empathy she had for Danny, and I'm so sympathetic and this and that. And it's like, when do you ever hear mixed women like Danny or non-black women like Danny? When do you hear them ever say the same thing about black women? And then in the first video, Kendra was like, oh, because if you forgave him, talking about the baby, then that means I have to forgive him. And I'm like, what? You don't have to do anything. And
No, that would make sense that you would have to forgive him, because obviously whatever he did negatively against her was obviously forgiven by her because she's still with him. So, I mean, like, you would have to forgive him at that point. I get that, what she's saying. If it's not a problem to her, then obviously it's not going to be a problem to Kendra G.
so that one part proves how empathetic black women are to these mixed women who don't even like them. You still feel sympathetic for her even after she made a whole song about why she thinks she's better than you.
She didn't make a song about why she thinks she's better than you. You equate someone loving their own skin tone with thinking that they think they're better than you, because that's in your head. You came up with the idea that danileigh was better than you because you feel that danileigh is better than you, because you think that light skin is better than you. And then you try and equate the fact that you think light skin is better than you as everyone else's problem. It is no one else's problem that you think light skin is better than your dark skin. When, you are the one who has to accept your dark skin. You're supposed to love your dark skin. And it's really not even anyone's job to make you do that. It's your job to love yourself. But you try and blame everyone else for something you couldn't make yourself do, or convince yourself to love yourself. You blame everyone else for the fact that you lack self-love. And that's a personal issue that you got going on there.
And this is a big problem black women have. We're too empathetic. We're too sympathetic. Black women were so invested in the lives of these colorist black male entertainers and the women that they prefer, to the point where, we start putting them on an unearned pedestal, just like the men do, right? And we start showing way too much concern and care for them. And in my opinion, again, I don't know Kendra, I don't know if this is a normal thing for her, but if she wasn't so invested in colorist black men and their colorist lovers to begin with, she wouldn't be so hurt. And again, I know it's business for some of these women, but it does go beyond business as well, right? And I've stated in several videos, there are a lot of dark-skinned women who say they don't care about colorism, because in the first clip she was like, oh, I'm not insecure, I didn't care about your little yellow bone song, right? And so they'll say, oh,
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. If you love your dark skin, you don't mind that someone else loves their light skin. That's why I was saying about my skin tone. I don't have any issue when a dark-skinned woman loves her dark skin. And I don't have any issue when someone lighter than me loves their skin tone. Because I love my skin tone regardless of what other people feel about their own skin tones. I would recommend to light-skinned and dark-skinned people to love their own skin tones. But it always seems like dark-skinned black women always are acting up more on this issue when they don't like their skin tone. And I'm not saying that dark-skinned women don't love their skin tone. I'm saying dark-skinned women who don't like their skin tone act up more on this. It seems maybe because they feel less appreciated. When you don't love yourself and no one else likes you either, that must suck, And when you get so much pushback for being darker, I guess that could be a thing where you get a lot of negativity for it. But I must say, I don't think everyone else dislikes dark skin. I think some people don't prefer dark skin, but some people do, right? At least from what I've heard, that many people have men and women who prefer dark skin. So maybe you're just looking for negativity because you feel negativity on your skin tone, which would make sense. When you have the answer to a problem, you're going to look for the same answer in the problem from others because you want like-minded individuals. Anyway, continue with your video.
I don't care, I'm not insecure, but those same women will overprotect and coddle light-skinned women and mixed women and non-black women who would never do the same for them. Black women everywhere. I'm talking about when that whole situation happened with danileigh and the baby, and he put her out the house. Do y'all remember that when he went on IG Live and he put her out the house, or he was threatening to put her out the house and call the police on her? Black women everywhere, including celebrity black women, by the way. Summer Walker, Keke Palmer, they came out defending danileigh, right? But when has danileigh ever publicly defended any black woman who's dealing with, a domestic abuse situation, or who's dealing with a horrible partner? And there are many. There have been many, right? Yeah, Ari Lennox came out. Yeah, I forgot about her.
I'll be completely honest, I didn't even know about Ari Lennox, so maybe she didn't know about her.
Right? Oh, wow. I Can't Breathe says, Chrissy, Kendra G is known to be meaner and harsher to dark-skinned black women. She scoffs and rolls her eyes when she interviews dark-skinned black women. See, I didn't know that. I don't watch her like that. I've seen a couple of her viral clips, but see, I didn't know that. But if that's true, I would not be surprised. She gives me that vibe. She gives me that, take it a little bit easier on light-skinned women, mixed women, have more empathy for light-skinned women, mixed women,
Maybe it's because she's gotten a lot of hate from darker-skinned black women like you. And maybe she's experienced a lot of different situations where you guys will use her for your self-hate and your anger against light-skinned women. You guys often do that. Like I said, like this situation right here, you're literally trying to pawn her in a situation of light versus dark. I could understand why she would roll her eyes at someone like you. That doesn't mean she's rolling her eyes at all dark-skinned black women, I'm saying that certain dark-skinned women like you, I would understand why she would do that, because you literally are trying to use this lady for a certain purpose, and you don't even align with her or identify with her like that. Because when you talk about promoting your image, you're not even talking about her. You're talking about a woman that's darker than her, and with a different phenotype than her. So you don't even really care about her phenotype like that, Anyway, continue.
She definitely gives me that vibe. But I don't recall danileigh ever coming out to defend a black woman, right? And see, I told y'all, during that situation with her and the baby, I told y'all, I said, even if you feel bad for danileigh, keep it to yourself. It's normal to feel empathy as a woman, but you don't have to publicly defend women who don't like you, because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do it for you if you were in the same situation. Right? And many of you called me evil. You said I was mean for saying that. And fast forward to today, Dani and her team are interfering and making it difficult for black women, to do their jobs. Oh, and I have this clip as well. There was also a blogger from Hollywood Unlocked that came out saying that Dani told her she doesn't consider herself to be black, but she loves black men, and she said that black women are jealous of her because she loves black men. So let's listen to that.
Afro-Latina panel with danileigh several weeks before Yellowbone, and behind the scenes while they were doing mic checks and everything, we were talking about the Afro-Latin experience, and I don't know if she thought I was one of those I know black Dominicans, but she was real candid with me, and she told me directly to my face, I don't consider myself black, but I like black music and black men, and I wish black women weren't so jealous about it. She said it to my face.
Considering this is a second person account, and this person is saying it from an angry level, and I feel like maybe, considering she says she's Afro-Latino, maybe she's Afro-Dominican. If you're Afro-Dominican and you look like that, you're going to obviously have some kind of animus against someone like danileigh, because someone like danileigh in the Dominican Republic is very acceptable, and someone like her is not acceptable. Well, that's the Dominican Republic problem. That's not danileigh's problem. And that doesn't mean that danileigh actually said that. It might more so mean that you are probably just jealous of her and angry at her, because we do see the anger and hear the anger coming out of your voice. And also on top of that, considering that danileigh is 21% African and the rest European and Native American, if she were to say she was black, most of you would have a fit. So how are you double-facing, two-facing right now, basically saying that, oh, she doesn't even see herself as black? Well, if she said she was black, you would have a fucking fit. That doesn't mean she doesn't understand that she's mixed. And I think she's consistently said that she's mixed. And you guys have consistently tried to call her white. See, you try to act like mixed isn't the thing, so then when you say someone says they're not black, you can turn it around and say that they're white somehow. In your weird, ignorant mind, who the fuck ever thinks this person looks completely white? At least in the standards of white purity. Now, you know how I have already come up with the whole thing that Caucasian race, as it originally was, mixed race, ancestry was included. We're not getting into that. I'm talking about what we're talking about as far as white people in America, how we think of white purity and so forth. Anyway, what I'm saying is she is admitting that she's mixed race. So you saying that she doesn't say that she's black doesn't mean that doesn't mean that she's not saying that she's mixed. She could be saying she's mixed.
And then we had a conversation where I said, sis, I need you to never say that in public. And I tried to tell her that she needed more education around the Afro-Latin experience. A couple weeks later, that song comes out. I was like, oop, she didn't listen to me, right? So I know for a fact that danileigh does not consider herself black. If she's changing her story, I'm calling cap. She said it to my face that she does not consider herself black, but she uses the N-word.
Yeah, and so again, another audio, because, you know, I don't know if Hollywood Unlocked, I don't know if...
No one should use the N-word. If you don't like the N-word being used by people of the white race, Asian race, or whatever race, then don't fucking use the N-word, okay? If you find the N-word to be offensive, make it an offensive word where you don't use it. If you call yourself the N-word yourself, then everybody has a right to call you the N-word. It's just what it is.
They copyright their stuff. But yeah, so after all that caping y'all did for Danny, and y'all are still doing for Danny, this is how she feels about black women, right? According to, what's her name, Blue Telusma, I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Telusma. Yeah, according to her, and we can't prove it, right? But with Danny's track record, it, you know, I wouldn't put it past her to say something like that. Well, she's comfortable, right? But see, black women like Kendra thinks that ignoring or dismissing this kind of stuff makes them look more insecure or more secure in themselves, right? And they feel it makes them look like they have high self-esteem. But the opposite is true. When dark-skinned women defend and fangirl over mixed women like this, like Kendra was doing.
How is this dark skin, sweetie? This is not dark skin. She's like a cinnamon color. Yeah, she's as dark as Lupita. See, that's what I mean. You guys originally say in your, like, other video where you're specifically talking about shades and the shade difference, you would include her as brown skin. So you're trying to say she's dark skin. That's not the case. And I think that is in part what's annoying to me about brown-skinned women. A lot of the time you guys will try to build the whole idea of a brown-skinned woman basically being someone who is self-hating, has low self-esteem, on dark skin, and so forth. Because basically you don't want to acknowledge what she really is. Yes, it makes you uncomfortable. Again, like everything that's lighter than you makes you uncomfortable. So you have to create this narrative that she's a dark-skinned person who has self-hate, self-esteem issues, basically. It's annoying. It really is. It's annoying. And these are the same kinds of accusations that people make when they make, like, a lot of the time dark-skinned women love to try to say brown-skinned women are bleachers, brown-skinned women are self-haters, brown-skinned women want to be light-skinned. You know, they love to make the same narrative over and over again, just because they happen to be a little lighter than you, you know, and it's annoying because it's like, why do you want to try and create this kind of image? And it's because you don't feel comfortable and you don't want them to be acknowledged for being lighter, even if it's by a little bit, because you feel like that gives them status over you, and you feel like it makes them more valuable of a woman than you, and you feel like they are dark enough where you feel like they shouldn't have a value over you, and you feel like you don't want anyone to acknowledge them for that color, because if they do, they're going to acknowledge that they're lighter. This is a common thing, it's like the same story out of the same book on a different day, you know, where you guys try to come up with the same idea of brown-skinned women being self-hating women. Why don't you ever... I don't understand why these people are so obviously hateful towards women like this. You're hateful to women like Kendra G. You're hateful towards women like danileigh. It shows that you have an inherent hate towards anyone who's remotely lighter than you. But you just come up with a new narrative for a different skin tone, basically. But the end result is, I have hate for you because you are lighter. That's it. Continue, though.
Boing. Y'all. No. When y'all do this, when you know that these women think they are superior to you, it actually shows that your self-esteem isn't as high as it should be, okay? When dark-skinned women are so gullible that they don't even see when these women are avoiding them or trying to sabotage their careers, you're not as confident and secure as you say you are. You're not. And see, black women like Kendra, what they do, they go out of their way to prove they aren't secure, like those, you know, quote-unquote bitter, dark.
No, they're not proving anything. I think what's going on in those situations is they've seen your bitter, dark-skinned side used against them. So they comprehend the same bitterness you show light-skinned women. So they can comprehend that. Also, don't get it twisted. These type of women also comprehend the other side of it too. They comprehend and see some people who will act negative towards them for being darker. So they kind of get it from both sides, you see. So that's why she's not going to act bitter towards light-skinned women like you, because she already knows and has experienced bitter, dark-skinned women like you who were bitter against her. That's just what it is. And you don't want to admit that, because when brown-skinned women start talking about you and your bitterness, it makes you look like a whole fucking clown, and you look like what you are. Because even people who, like Kendra G, is well accepted as a black woman. When a black woman like her sees you as a bitter, dark-skinned black woman who's negative against her, she obviously is going to show you for who you are. You can't say, oh, it's just non-black women who feel this way. Oh, it's just mixed women who feel this way. Oh, it's just light-skinned women who feel this way. You can't even do that, because someone like her is clearly a very brown-skinned woman, you know. She's not light-skinned, she's not mixed, she's not a non-black woman, you know. She's a black woman, and her blackness is almost compared to, you know, dark-skinned black women on an equal level almost. She's respected as black, honestly. And this is why you try to play nice with her, but every now and then she sees your true bitter face behind that little phony mask you got for her. You know, and that's how people like that kind of understand the name of the game and the real motive of the game of colorism from dark-skinned black women who are colorism crybabies. I'm not saying all dark-skinned black women are colorism crybabies. I repeat, I am not saying all dark-skinned women are colorism crybabies. I'm saying the ones like Chrissy are. Continue.
Skinned women over here, right? And then they end up getting burned by the very same colorist they tried to prove themselves to, right? Same thing is likely going to happen to
And she gets burnt literally by people like you every other day if she tries to mule for you. You see my point here? You guys will burn her at, like in this video where you're trying to make up that she is self-hating and she has low self-esteem and low confidence, as you guys always create that narrative for brown-skinned women. There's no other narrative a dark-skinned woman comes for brown-skinned women with besides that narrative. You constantly do that narrative because your only winning quality you have against brown-skinned women is to pit them against light-skinned women. That's the only thing you got, is to say, oh, you're less than light-skinned women. Oh, you're inferior to light-skinned women. Oh, if you love your skin tone and you're not insecure with lighter-skinned women, you have a self-hate issue. You have a confidence issue because you're just praising them. So basically you're saying that if you're not mad, bitter, and angry like me, because I'm dark-skinned and I'm upset that someone's light-skinned, you have a self-esteem issue. And the truth is, outside of that, you create that self-hate image for brown-skinned women because you don't like the fact that you feel that that skin tone is better than your skin tone. You do feel that brown skin is better by the logic of light skin being better than dark skin, then obviously brown skin is better than dark skin to you. And you want to erode that as much as possible, obviously, and you want to create the idea that she hates her skin tone because in truth you love her skin tone more than you like your own skin tone. That's just the truth. Anyway,
Keke Palmer, trying to prove yourself to be so, secure, and then, you're going to get burnt by the same colorist that you're trying to prove yourself to.
Keke Palmer is another brown-skinned black woman. I don't understand what you're doing here at this point. Keke Palmer, I don't understand. Let's look. See, wait. This is the type of woman that Chrissy promotes. This is the type of woman Chrissy promotes. This is the type of woman Chrissy promotes. You see, clearly dark-skinned women. Let's look at Kendra G. Kendra G. I want to show you Kendra G so you guys get a good feel of how she looks. This is how Kendra G looks. As you can see, she's not nearly the color of those women that I showed previously. At all. Kendra G is kind of like a darker, I would just say cinnamon. Kind of caramel-ish color, but you get what I'm saying. She's not the same color as what Chrissy promotes. Keke Palmer is not the same color as what Chrissy promotes. This is nowhere near the same color as what Chrissy promotes. Chrissy doesn't promote their image. Chrissy is jealous of women this color. It's just what it is. She is. She's jealous of someone like this color, Keke right here, which is kind of like her natural color. She's like a lightish brown hue, kind of. Yeah. Chrissy literally will call some women light-skinned that are her color like that. So, I don't get why she's trying to say, change the narrative for this video and try and call Keke Palmer, dark-skinned, when the women that she promotes are like this color. Oh, sorry. I'm going to wait on it, but... But yeah, as you can see, she does promote much darker women than Kendra. Oh, sorry. Technical difficulty here.